Hocke, Principal Agile Tester at FlixBus. She will be sharing with us her key takeaways. And you can find out more about Elisabeth on her tweets at Lizzie Hocke and her blog at www.lizziehocke.com. Welcome, Lizzie.
Thank you.
Big round of applause, guys.
So, hello everybody, welcome. So my name is Lizzie, and as already presented, I'm an Agile tester at FlixBus. So for today, let me be your guide on our journey of exploring FlixBus. Oh, that's nice.
Hi, we would like to make an announcement. Anyone who wants to attend the talk at Tester Exploring Developer Lab at -2 should go immediately to the room because it's going to begin right now. Thank you very much.
It already started. Okay, so let's have a first check. Who knows FlixBus or has seen the green buses running on Europe's road? Just show your hands. Okay, some hands go up. That's interesting. So of those who know about those green buses, who has traveled with one already? Also, okay, we have some, nice. So of those of you, do you know how many buses we own? Just shout it out if you know, or just a guess. Wild guesses are allowed. I heard 2,000, 150, it's way too much. 600 is too much. Okay, I'll tell you. 1. So the thing is, we partner up with lots of bus companies. They know their business in and out. It's their core expertise for many, many years. And they know the local market as well, right? They know how to maintain the buses, how to deal with drivers, and so on. So we bring together the demand with the ones who can deliver it. The mission of this company is to provide green and smart mobility for everyone to experience the world. Okay, to live up to that, I mean, we're a sort of combination of an e-commerce company, we're a mobility provider, yes, but basically we're a tech company. That's what people normally don't see if they think of buses. The company history, to give you some context of the talk, is as follows. It was founded in 2011. The brand started 2013, so about a bit more than 5 years ago. And we had one big event that was quite impactful. FlixBus Munich merged with Mein Fernbus in Berlin in 2015 because they had the same goal. So they thought, you know, why not? Let's do it together. The tech department, now overall, grew already to 250 people, quite a lot. And we have 2 headquarters, still the old locations. Now, the big challenge was to bring the 2 companies with very different cultures together to form one company. Some teams started out from the beginning really agile, self-organized everything, and some were really hierarchical. So we started out on an agile journey 2 years ago to get everybody on the same page. And with that event, no team leads anymore. We don't have functional leads. We also try to get inspired by Spotify and other companies and try to evolve our own organizational structure. And we're still evolving it. I mean, it's taking time. We also had a team self-design event where all the products got pitched by their owners, and then team could really sign up, hey, I'd like to work on that product. I might move to the other city. I might change my role even. All on the mission to create those self-organized autonomous teams. So that's a bit of the context of the company I'm going to talk about. Now to provide you the other side of the context is about me. My context is I never thought I would end up in software development. I rather stumbled into testing, I would say, after university. I worked at a very little startup and learned about Agile, learned about testing, and I really found my passion. Well, that startup didn't make it, so I also had a period of experiencing being outsourced at a very big traditional company as a test manager. Wasn't it for me, so moving on, found myself another team. And well, I did testing, but I also learned a lot about other things in at that company. Server administration, lots of operational tasks, third level support, integration of products. And I learned a lot about teams in that company, but I still wanted to go back to product development, and I heard about this great place called FlixBus. So I joined nearly 3 years ago, and this is also what I want to share with you today. My personal experience when exploring that company. So I'm not talking for my company here right now. I'm talking as a person who happens to work there. So it's seen through my eyes. And I'd like to share the following with you. First of all, how was testing done when I entered the company? And like the first few weeks. What about a year from that? How did it evolve? Where are we today? This is a period of like since last year. And of course, last but not least, let's have an outlook in the future. What might await? How will it look like in maybe 1 year or 5 years from now? So, we will be back in time for lunch, no worries. Fasten your seatbelts now, lean back and enjoy. This is a time travel. Well, let's start at the beginning. So how did it look like before I was on the team and during the first weeks? We had a problem. Testing was actually covered by the team. So that's great, right? But we had lots of regression issues. The context of the special product team I joined is that they develop an internal application. It's an application for our network planning department, planning the whole network of bus lines we then offer in the end. So we're at the very start, and if you look at our website, you won't see our product. But it's, of course, a core part. It's a web application, Java, JavaScript, and front end.
-2 by Elisabeth Hocke has already started.
Yes.
So anyone interested should go there. Thank you very much.
Yeah, go there. No, just kidding. So it's a web application, and it started with 3 developers, 1 product owner, starting off 2015, so quite a while ago already. It grew already to 6 developers until I joined, and all those developers were really proud to call themselves full stack. Of course, nobody's ever really full stack, but the key part is they really valued knowledge sharing. And they picked up any task, if they're familiar with it or not, they learned on the task. So, great thing. They had already very close collaboration with the product owner. Agile mindset, wanting to improve themselves. Perfect. It's like a luxury situation, actually, to come in. They also covered testing, as I shared. They had written unit tests from the start, integration tests, had a proof of concept for tests through the UI, through the whole tech stack. Awesome. We had an automated build pipeline, released every few days. Quite cool. Now, what about testing? So they had help by someone from business to find out, okay, what is missing? That's nice. They also found one of the developers wanted to get more into testing, say like, okay, maybe I can cover that up. And they tried it for 1-2 sprints, but they found it's not sustainable. So we still have a problem here. Well, the problems they saw was especially what I show here, the regression issues, the missing user perspective. How does everything hang together in the end? Especially as the business person who helped out with testing wanted to go back to another task and another job, so not available anymore. So let me ask you that shortly. Who else had the problem of many regression issues? Just show your hands, please. I see several hands go up, so maybe you can relate to that problem. So let's talk about solutions. The solution the team thought of for their team problem was bring in a tester, a dedicated one, me. And as I shared, that was a luxury situation to join a team as a tester because they really wanted me there. They welcomed me. It's not taken for granted, by the way. The expectations they shared with me was that I should focus on quality, bring that in, on testing, driving automation. For me, that was a big challenge. I mean, I did automation here and there a bit, but still something to learn. But I was eager to learn. But when I actually started, I found out, well, actually, they need something else right now. And also, they told me, maybe, yeah, we can tackle that later, but it would be so great to have someone who explores and sees what's missing. What do we miss? Where can we improve? So, lucky me, I could contribute with my expertise, with the experience I already had. And already in the first few weeks, I changed several things. So, for example, I overheard there was a meeting with some developers, maybe the product owner as well. And I thought, may I join in? And often I heard, that meeting's not interesting for you. Well, I learned from my previous teams already that I'd rather judge that for myself. So I joined in. And I joined in on conversations I overheard. And they quickly realized, oh, that's beneficial. You should be in. Also, regarding our workflow. Well, when I joined, we have a Scrum board, you probably know that, and there are several columns. And just before the merge to an integrated system, they added for me a column called QA review. I mean, that was really nice and kind, but I had my troubles with that. It somehow signaled that this is like a phase in the workflow, like a final thing to do, right? There's something someone else needs to do. I renamed that column to final testing to signal this is just the very, very last state before we merge. But it's not the only place where testing happens. Testing happens throughout. From the very beginning of challenging tests, like just ideas before anything is written, to creating that shared understanding, seeing if we missed something, testing very, very early on and incrementally. Here, I also often overheard, if I tested very, very early increments, like, oh, you don't have to test that yet. It's not even past code review. You're going to waste your time. The thing is, I already learned it's wasting a lot more time if I wait until the very end and have a whole bunch. They already start with something else, and my feedback is really, really delayed. So I'd rather repeat some parts of testing and provide a lot quicker feedback, which leads us in the right direction early on. And testing doesn't stop after we merged. It continues on production as well. We had monitoring in place, just nobody ever used it really. We had, of course, logs, and they can provide a wealth of information if you find out what's happening actually, how the users really use the system. And we also had users report problems, which is awesome. We had to train them a bit, but this provides valuable feedback. So all in all, I changed my perception in the team and also in the company. I was called QA developer. Well, I love the developer part, but the QA part, I'm not convinced that anybody ever can assure quality. So I rebranded myself as an Agile tester to just start also conversations, and lots of conversations also took place. All those things, of course, go hand in hand with automation. Automation frees up my time to explore on other areas. And I did not only explore the product, as you will see, but also like workflows, how we collaborate on company level. Talking about the company level. Well, they also had the problem of the regression issues in other teams, right? This was just one team. And their idea was also, like, let's bring further testers in. Let's create this global quality vision. This is struck through because it never happened. They had thought of best practices for everybody. The thing is, we're working in a complex domain. I don't believe there are best practices. We don't know many of the things. Uncertainty is way too high. There might be good practices, but you have to adapt it to the context you're in. So a global one did not make sense. I also started as the second tester in the whole company. And their idea was also to form that, global testing team, so testers are shared among products. That also didn't happen, and also now doesn't fit anymore to our company vision of fully cross-functional teams, which I'm really happy about, but that was the initial solution they found. As I said, it didn't happen, which I'm really happy about. Now, let's move on. How did it evolve after this very initial phase, where we already had lots of changes? We, again, had problems, and that was bottlenecks. Our workflow indeed included gates. We had the product owner in the workflow providing really early feedback, which was awesome, but it's a single point of failure. And we had myself also working on all the things. So quickly, we had a problem of bottlenecks, tickets piling up. And that was supported by a working agreement in the team we had. That was saying, if a developer has free capacity, they're free to pull the next item from the product backlog into the sprint. So you can imagine tickets and tickets and tickets piling up in this very final column and waiting. And while they were waiting, they pulled in more tickets, right? So lots of context switching, lots of waiting time, not good. The situation became even worse when first my product owner went on vacation for 5 weeks, and I was a substitute. Yeah. And even better, I joined the second team, because that was agreed in the beginning. I should work for 2 teams. Yeah, 2 full-time jobs, and a substitute for another. When the pain was the greatest, the team felt the need. They had to adapt. They had to change something. We had to change something. It's not going to work like that. Because I was just rushing after tickets, no time to think, quality decreased, everybody unhappy, no value actually delivered to the customer in the end. Well, let me ask you, who else has encountered bottlenecks or testing as a bottleneck? Please stand up if you do. Let's get that blood flowing. Yeah, exactly, just stand up. And look around you. There are many more not standing up. Thank you for that. So the solution on team level was to introduce a whole team approach to testing and quality. You might have heard that already promoted by Lisa Crispin, Jenny Gregory in their Agile testing books and also on conferences. And well, we came to that by first introducing a different kind of working agreement. We thought, let's try this lean approach of stop starting, start finishing. The working agreement was that before you pull in a new item from the product backlog, you first have to make sure you really cannot support anybody else. Support me as a tester. Support with code review. Support the product owner. Support another developer, maybe pair programming. Or maybe just not pull anything new, just not to make it worse. So this solved our situation. And it was also quite valuable from a knowledge sharing point of view. Because, I mean, they didn't have me before I joined, right? How did it work now, when they're now helping out and also do the testing? What we did is we sat together before somebody helped testing. I sat together with the developer. We discussed where are the biggest risks here, what to look out for, what are our ideas. Then they started off. I could move on to other tasks. They took lightweight notes of their findings. And afterwards, when they said, like, okay, I think I'm through, let's debrief. What happened? What did they find? What interesting things they see, or what's to address? Also what they missed, maybe. Or where they tested maybe also too much. So that debriefing helped us further, and also shared knowledge. Now, another thing was creating a generic guideline. Just like a checklist, really stupid, things to look out for, which were important for a product. Also, I had a mind map to make it more easy visible where could a feature break if we changed the other one. How does it belong together? What to look out for? Because as the developers were only working on parts, even if they were full stack, they never saw the whole system. This approach is still lived today, and not only in case of bottlenecks, which is really nice, but also in case of leaves, like sick leave. Quite unexpected, but somebody can jump in and swarm in. Or vacation. It's really nice to go on vacation, or a conference like this. I know my team is currently doing the work, and when I return on Tuesday, I pick up the things where they are, not where I left them, which is awesome. I'm really proud of my team here. We also have the company level, right? So, as I was the second tester on the company, testing knowledge is instantly a bottleneck. And we already learned that sharing the testers across teams doesn't work. So we decided to share the knowledge. We had to get the buy-in of everybody to do that. But as soon as we got that, we could start a small movement. Like all the testers we had, 2, 3 then joined together, synced up monthly, sharing challenges, discussing what we can do to share that knowledge, like workshops, like exploratory testing workshops for developers. It's really fun, actually. They can be really good at that. They just often need more patience or the focus to do that. We also started hiring further testers, so I could also hand over my second team again, which was awesome. And really focused on the knowledge sharing instead. Also on the job, in our own teams. But across teams was also really valuable. That leads us to our next stop. So welcome to our experiment-driven park of collaboration. This is where we are today, since about last year. But we still have a problem. And that's called knowledge silos. Even with all that knowledge sharing going on, full stack, and sharing testing knowledge across the company, we ended up with those knowledge silos. For example, we had one person who had all the knowledge about our infrastructure, build pipeline, and all the things. And it was so convenient to say, oh, we have a topic like that. Oh, let's him do that. That's perfect. He did that for 2 other teams, and then left the company. So, didn't help so much. And we had similar things like that. The only person who's familiar with that third-party product and knows the code base there, and so on. Well, who else stumbled over knowledge silos? Just wave. Yeah. Okay, that's a lot, actually. It's a common problem, right? So, how do we solve it? The solution on the team level was the mob approach. So, if you've not heard of mob programming before, it's basically this. It's the whole team working together on the same task, same space, same time, on the one computer. This approach was found by Woody Swill's team back at Hunter Industries, and lately also driven by lots of other people, like Marat Priyavi, Llewellyn Falco, If you want to have a deep dive, I really recommend the Mob Programming Guidebook you can find on LeanPub. So, it's called mob programming. It's not only about programming. You can use that approach for all activities, for testing, for preparing a stakeholder presentation, anything. Of course, questions come up regarding productivity. How can that be productive? Everybody on the same, right? It's quite a common question. The thing is, it's about getting the best out of everybody, not the most. And whoever has proven that working in knowledge silos is more effective? Why trying mobbing and trying out such an approach? The team was trying to extend their toolbox of development approaches. And, well, I picked up that idea from another conference, and I was talking about it. I would love to try it. And when we sat together defining our team objectives for the next quarter, my team suddenly said, you know, why not try it? Let's, you know, can't hurt. Let's try it out. And I was like, whoa, you don't even pair up. You want to try mobbing? They did. So what we did is we started using it or trying it by the book. We had booked a meeting room, so we're separate. We had a designated navigator who instructs what to do next, thinks ahead, observes. But that's not the one who really puts in the ideas into the keyword. That's the driver. You can think of it like a rally. The one has the time to think, the other one just cares about the details to put in. The rest of the mob observes, can research meanwhile, can prepare for their time as a navigator, because they rotate frequently. This format is a really nice way to share knowledge. But we stumbled across some things here when trying it out. We surprisingly did not have the problem of talking over each other, which is quite common. We also tried ideas from junior ones. Everybody could really contribute and talk, so we didn't have that problem. But we stumbled across something like the meeting room situation, because they are quite rare at our company. We stumbled across different operating systems, different languages, custom shortcuts in the IDE. They also felt, oh man, rotating on a timer, they didn't like that a lot. So it felt too formal, and they wanted to change it. So we changed it. Well, we didn't book a meeting room anymore. We just set up a big screen next to our normal working place, and whenever we wanted to mob, we just moved our chairs. No impediment anymore. We also just, we just rotated on task level, not on time. That also felt more natural for them. So trying to reduce the barriers, we tried it more and more and more. One of the biggest things here was that we did not force anybody to be in the mob or to stay on the mob. Everybody of us had some meetings we could not postpone, like, I don't know, a one-to-one with your manager. We didn't force them in. If you have a meeting, feel free to go to the meeting, do whatever you need, come back anytime. Or sometimes you just need, that personal break, retreat, use the restroom, get another coffee, something like that. Fine. And as soon as we allowed that, everybody was really eager to come back because they feared, oh, I missed something, I'm not part of that fun. It even ended up in doing synchronized coffee breaks, so nobody misses that. So we had a very intense phase of that last year. We still mob regularly, unfortunately a bit less, like once or twice or 3 times a month, something like that. We use it on demand. So it's not our regular working mode, unfortunately, but it's there in our toolbox whenever we need it. And we need it to solve tricky problems, having all the brains in, and we need it especially for knowledge sharing. Things everybody should know, because everybody can take or should be able to take over anything. And all can go on vacation easily, right? A fun fact about that, the side effect was suddenly they paired up. We never paired up before. Not if they're not forced to, let's say it like that. I mean, if they needed support, okay, somebody could come over, but then, go back to your story. It's mine. Seeing the benefits of mobbing, they suddenly opened up to pairing. So nowadays we pair up a lot in different constellations and on different activities. So, nice thing. Talking a lot about the team, there's also the company side, right? And we also had knowledge silos there. We had started this little tester sync once a month. We called it our community already. Well, it was really based on one location, and we didn't see what's happening in the other teams. So it was really valuable for us, but it didn't get the visibility. When we started that Agile journey overall in the whole company 2 years ago, we suddenly increased our visibility, and many, many other people joined in who were just interested in testing. That didn't need to be the dedicated testers, but we had product owners, UX experts, developers, and so on. The main focus of that community was to acquire knowledge, to apply it, to share it. All around knowledge sharing, voluntarily. We now have a community meetup once every month, and we do different formats. Either someone gives a talk, or a workshop, or we do lean coffee and everybody brings their challenges, so we can hopefully help each other out. We also did mob testing together, nice format. We introduced community viewing of recordings of conference talks like this and then discussing. There are many more things we could try, like book clubs and so on. So lots of value to reduce those knowledge silos. And suddenly we also had support to work on global topics like recruiting together, like developing our own career path. We're all behind. We had the support to share our knowledge with the external community as well, hosting meetups, for example, or speaking there, or at conferences. That's today. But we now arrived at our last stop for today. What about this funfair of alternative futures? What might come next? So, I'm very, very sure we still have a problem. And we have tried lots of experiments already, but we must not stand still, right? I think we have to improve continuously. What shall we try? So, here are some ideas I have in my mind where to improve next. Let's see. First of all, you already see it, behavior-driven development. We had that experiment, and it failed, unfortunately, completely. It was at the same time as mob. The mob started off, the BDD was completely a disaster. I realized really, really late that one of the biggest problems was missing shared understanding of what BDD is about. Very late, one of the developers shared with me, like in person, in private, does it mean we now have to write all the automated tasks on UI level? And it was like, what? It's about the conversation up front. That's the biggest part of it. If you don't have that, it's not BDD. And we did have some really valuable 3 Amigo sessions before a line of code was written. And everything afterwards was so much faster and easier, just taking that little more time up front. But as I said, it's not established, and I'm waiting for the right moment to trigger that movement again. I'd love to mob and pair even more, because I saw the benefits already. And as I said, we do that already, but we also have changing team constellations. One person leaves, another one comes. You always have a new team. So we have to provide here or put in constant effort. Why not growing even more full stack? I mean, they are full stack, but I feel the need to share even more testing knowledge, also because we're having changing team constellations. And why not also helping them out a bit more? I mean, I can fix the one bug here or there as well. Why not increase that so we can really support each other and become a bit more T-shaped? We know our users. As I said, it's an internal application, so this is a really big benefit of that. They're sitting at the other location in Berlin, so it's a bit far away. We already had visited them last year, all of us, and it was such an insightful experience to sit next to them and see how they really use our product and where they stumble, what kind of challenges they actually have, and it's a challenging job they have. I would love to do that regularly, really formalize it. Well, our release currently, well, we have a downtime, first of all. It's an internal application, okay. It's only 2 minutes, okay, but still we have the downtime. And we also have the manual step of triggering the release script. The rest is automated. So why not go the full step? I would love to. However, this might not even ever happen as it's an internal application and maybe it's just not the priority. Still would love to see that. And also the 0 defect tolerance. Oh wait, actually we have that now. Just happened in the last few weeks. So we have reduced our bug backlog to 0. And now whenever an issue is found by anybody, could be us, could be the users, we decide instantly what to do with it. Is it a real issue? And if it is, does it provide any business value to fix it? Maybe it's not a problem. Maybe they don't care. But if it is, maybe we can fix it with one of the stories that are already work in progress. Or we really create a separate ticket, but then we instantly pull it in the sprint. And the next one who has free capacity can take it. So these quick decisions are key here. No waste in the backlog. Some ideas on the company level. Well, we have now several more testers. I would love to introduce a more formalized way of developing each other and mentoring. I mean, we do that on demand, we have it in our hands, but it's not formalized. If someone is brave enough to step up, I'd like to get a mentor. Of course, they can get them, but you have to be brave enough. Why not making an explicit offer? I'd also love to try cross-team peer testing, having one tester who knows the domain and another one from another team sitting together, sharing their knowledge. Maybe also the outside tester with a developer of this team, sharing knowledge. So some parts here started already, which is nice, because I'm currently on a testing tour, pairing up with lots of different testers, and some were from my own company, but it's only the very first steps. Let's see what comes. Cross-team mobs would also be really interesting for learning and sharing knowledge about development in its whole, across teams. Why not? Maybe hosting a conference. I mean, we had the community meetups. Why not do a conference for all tech? Invite business. Maybe invite externals. Oh, by the way, actually, it just happened this year as well. So it was a bit different. I thought we started out of the tester community, but it got started out of our whole tech department, which was great. So we had the first FlixTech Summit end of June this year. We invited whole tech, we invited business, we had external guests. We will do it again next year and learn. So we've come to the end of our tour today. In case you have questions further on, you can find me on the conference throughout or on Twitter. It's the best way to reach me. But for today, I'd like to leave you with the following. When you explore beyond the borders of the product. There are so many more things. The team, the workflow, the company. The issues you find, make them transparent and provide the feedback so we can make informed decisions how to improve together. So think about what to try next, where to improve next, and then try it really out, because you never know if it works in your context before you have tried it. Explore everything, contribute where you can provide value. This is the final question to you today. Who else has ideas of what to improve next? If so, please clap your hands.